On today's episode 37 of Sculpt N Create, we're tapping into something real, not just music, but purpose behind the music. I got a guest with me who's not chasing trend, she's bringing back essence. We're talking about the feeling you used to get from music, when it actually said something, when it made you think, when it lasted longer than just a moment. Today I'm joined by Angel Danielle, a hip-hop and R&B artist and aspiring philanthropist who's on a mission to bring back real lyric, real storytelling, and real connection through her sound. She's opened up for legends like Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick, Chubb Rock, and Young and May. And producers like Zaytoven reach out to work with her, and she's building her artistry through years of true artist development, live performance, and consistency. But what really stands out about Angel is her commitment to being an artist for the people, by the people. Her music speaks on real life, relationships, accountability, what we're going through day to day, and how we actually move forward from it. In this episode, we get into the difference between conscious music and mainstream trend, the state of hip-hop today and what's missing, relationships, accountability, and real communication, artist development versus just dropping music, and why staying authentic still matters, even when it's not the popular route. We also talk about her upcoming project, This is 1990 Established, a return to the roots of hip-hop and R&B with a modern purpose. If you're an artist, a creative, or just someone who's been feeling like music ain't hitting the same lately, this is one of those conversations you're going to want to sit with. Let's get into it. And while you're listening, make sure you hit subscribe or follow and drop a comment with your biggest takeaways from the episode. Welcome to Sculpt N Create, where fitness fuels creativity and helping artists, entertainers, and creators on their journey towards their physical, personal, and career growth. I'm your host, Trey the Fit Artist, and who I have with me today is Angel Danielle. She's a hip-hop and R&B artist and an aspiring philanthropist. Welcome to the show, Angel.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm glad you can make it. And before we get into everything, let everybody know where they can find you, maybe even book you. Basically, set your links out.
On Instagram, Angel Danielle 12. On TikTok, I'm Angel Danielle _12. And on Facebook, it's Angel Danielle.
Y'all check her out and everything. So we're gonna go and get into it, Angel, and start right where you are currently. Tell us more about you. We already said you're a hip hop artist and R&B artist. So let's start there. So tell us more about that. Like, what do you do? What type of music you make, and your style, and your voice, who you looking to reach, and so forth.
I've always been told my music is conscious music because it makes
Okay.
you think. It
Okay.
doesn't, it's not like a quick drive-by type of song. It's always a message in all of my music. I love the roots of hip hop, especially from like the 80s and the 90s. I'm a 90s
Okay.
baby. I was established in 1990.
Right.
Or as my son says, 1990.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my music is really, I really think thoroughly through when I'm writing a song and when I'm creating, especially when I'm working on a project, because I need for it to be long term and longevity, something that means something to someone that can reach the people that's just the regular people going to work every day. How we're all dealing with things with the government now, just
Yeah.
relative music. So when we talk about the reach, it's anybody. Honestly, anybody from all walks of life, because it speaks so many different topics. Like I talk about, like I said, politics, but I don't like politics, but I talk about what we're dealing with. I talk about love, how love isn't the same anymore. We don't love each other the same anymore. Relationships aren't the same anymore. I talk about how we can do those things. So it's not just talking against the things that we're going through in life. It's also talking about, well, what can we do to get to a better place? So I'm just that artist that you would love to come and listen to because it's so relative to what we go through on a day-to-day basis in everyday life.
Okay. So basically, conscious rap, but conscious music, let's say it like that, but a broad spectrum on conscious, not just on just one scope. Is that a fair assumption? Okay. Okay.
Right.
All right. So now you mentioned about the relationship part and love part. Is that mostly hip hop, R&B, or on the R&B side, or the hip hop side, or is it both?
It's both. It's
Okay.
both. I'm compared to Lauryn Hill a lot.
Okay. Okay.
Especially after someone sits down and actually listens to my music or watches a performance, they're like, "Yo,
Mm.
you're both like it's a balance between hip hop and R&B. You can do a song with hip hop and R&B, like how Lauryn
Okay.
Hill would do."
Right.
So it's both. It's both. I
Okay.
love especially doing a song that has me rapping and singing on it
Okay.
because if I'm talking about, well, I'm tired of this happening in my rap. Then on the
Mm.
R&B side, when I come and sing, and I can say, well, this is what we can do about it.
Okay.
So it's
Basically,
like I'm talking to it's like a
yeah, I get
conversation.
what you're saying. I don't know if you heard Ti versus Tip in the some
Yes,
sense like that.
that's
Okay,
exactly
I
what
got
was in my head when I said that. Yeah.
okay. Okay, cool, cool. All right, so when you okay, so when you talking about love and relationships and so forth, you say you talk about that because it's certain topic that people ain't talking about. Can you expound on that? Like, what is different from the stuff that's out there now?
So like in my song Bounce Back, one of the first lines I said, bounce back to real love with no flex. Don't post that. Tell me how you feel. It's about us, not a social reel. Like
Okay,
it's to the point
okay.
where I've had so many situationships where you posting about us, but you didn't tell me that. Why is this so? Why do you have to tell everybody else instead of the person that it's
Hmm.
about?
Yeah.
Why is it that we have to talk about what we see on reality TV when we're
Hmm.
talking about like getting to know each other in a relationship or even in a relationship? Well, you acting like Rashida and blah, blah, blah. What's she got to do with me? So it's gotten to the point where love and relationships pick out like what we see out there instead of what it is, instead
Hmm.
of just letting it be what it is. So
Right.
yeah, that's what I like talking about in my
Okay.
music because of the fact that I have conversations like that all the time. So that's also where a lot of my music comes from, like day-to-day conversations.
Okay, and I do like that part, yeah, because it do be when you said that keep it off social media and so forth. I believe a lot of people on both sides look at the skewed views or perspective that online or social media has you to think about relationships and personality and lifestyle than sitting there with your significant other and keeping it private and what y'all got going on and so forth instead of trying to bring it to there, because everybody gonna have their own opinions. Don't mean
Right.
it's gonna work for your relationship and what you got going on. So I think that speaks, paramount. Okay, cool. And definitely it's not one of those bashing. I don't want to make it a man and women type thing, but you do have those women songs that bash men and vice versa. The men bash women and stuff like that. We definitely need something that where it can help people's relationship more than it hurts. Instead of tearing us apart. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does because we can, like you said, we can bash, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, you don't just, I wouldn't even say bash. We can point the
Mm-hmm.
finger at the other person or that gender, like men this, but what about us? Because sometimes we got to check ourselves too as women. So that's also in one of my songs too. I'm talking about this song called To Be Loved. It's like
Okay.
I want to be loved so bad, but I know that I continue to deal with you saying this, that, and the third. So it's also
Okay.
my fault because I'm dealing with it. I'm dealing with it and I'm accepting it to the point where you'll apologize, I'll be over it, and then
Okay.
it'll happen again. And then I'm like, oh, he's gonna
Okay.
say sorry, but he said sorry and he did this and but girl, what we doing? So at the same time, you doing this to him, but what are you doing at the same time? Yeah,
Accountability is the word. Basically.
accountability.
So is what you're saying. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate us guys will appreciate that, in a sense as well too, or whatever when it comes to relationship. But yeah, okay, cool. Now when and now for is your other stuff you say you don't really preach on politics, but you kind of say the effects from it. What people are feeling in a sense. And can you like speak on that? And then the other thing that you talk about too, kind of basically just expound on a little bit of what you were saying earlier, or
Word, yeah.
what your music is, your style and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very universal as far as the topics
Mm,
that I'm talking about. So like with
mm,
politics, my parents, like when they start talking about politics, I'll walk out the room. Because when you're having a political conversation, it can start here and then they get like, why y'all yelling
mm-hmm.
at me? Like y'all not yelling at each other, but it's so aggressive. So I don't like those conversations.
Like sports.
Yeah, oh, I can sports talk though, but but,
Okay.
but yeah, so, with politics or with what we're going through on a day-to-day with the government, I have this song called "Land of the Free," and my dad is actually on it.
Okay.
My dad was military, and my
Okay.
dad has always had this
Okay.
powerful voice. So I said, "Daddy, I wanna put you
Okay.
on this song. I just need you to speak on it. It's the speaking parts for you to do on it." And my sister, who was Miss South Carolina, she's a singer. Like, she's a singer. So I
Okay.
put her on it too. So it's kinda
Okay.
like family oriented.
Okay.
But like the first line of the song says land of the free, more like land of the he. And by he, I'm referring to GOVERN MENT. So I'm talking about like this is what we're going through. It's obvious what we're going through, but it's oblivious to them. Um, we're tired of doing like we're tired of this. I'm tired of working 3 jobs with nothing else happening. I work all these jobs, but at the same time, when I'm paying my bills, it's like $2 left in the bank. So what am I doing?
Mhm.
We're like, excuse me, the conversation now, especially now, I've seen so much of this conversation lately about how our parents did struggle, but they struggled with one job. They didn't have to work multiple incomes like we have to find multiple incomes nowadays. So that's what's in my music, those type of conversations. Just to
Okay.
get that out there and basically not have a political conversation, but have like a political conversation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
too
I get what you're saying.
with
Yeah,
opinion.
but
It's all
right.
factual. This is what we're dealing with, and we tired of this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, touch on it without being fully deep on it in a sense, and
Right.
everything. Where it's all the way your opinions and stuff like that, but you just kind of
Yeah.
like a reflective lens on what's going on. Does
Yeah,
that make
like
sense?
how Pac was. Like, I love
Yeah.
Pac. That's one of my biggest inspirations. And
Okay.
honestly, at the end of that song, "Land of the Free," is a snippet of Tupac's interview where
Okay.
he was saying, "We can be standing outside of the White House, and
Yeah.
we saying like, 'We hungry, please
I
let us
remember that.
in.' And then it's like, 'We hungry, we need some food.' And it's like breaking down the door." So that's what
Yeah.
the whole song is about. That's why that snippet goes so perfectly
Hmm.
because it's just like Pac is a perfect example of how he wasn't political, but he knew what was right and what was wrong. Like, this is factual. What the hell is happening? I don't care about your opinion. I don't care about what you think. This is what the hell is happening right now. Then this is
Hmm.
what we need to do about it. That's why about me being an aspiring philanthropist. Like you see how my energy is changing right now, even talking about it, because I really feel like in my past life I was in the Black Panthers.
But
Because
okay.
since I was younger and learned about who the Black Panthers were, how they fed the kids, and they didn't have to do it, but they did it because we needed just different things that they did for the people. I'm like, when I was younger, I'm like, I want to do that when I get older.
Okay.
That's why they call me Angela Davis with my fro. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Right. Right. Okay. That was
Yeah.
up.
So yeah,
Uh,
that's what I talk about.
Okay. For the politics and stuff like that. And I think too, a lot of artists kind of stray from making, so you got country rapper, but they stray from the politics and stuff like that or whatever, or just really those push button topics where they don't want to put their opinions out there too much because they don't want their fan base to go a certain way if they think of a certain way. 'Cause I remember Eminem had did a Donald Trump song and everything where he was saying, basically, fuck Donald Trump and everything. He said, I cut my fan base in half, everybody who fucked Trump and stuff like that. So you got some folks that will do it, but you got a lot of them, more of them that won't. I think that's definitely something that we can, can talk about or should talk about. But the thing is, it is like with the mainstream wanting us to or the listeners, I should say, mainstream wanting to hear a certain type of music. So, what would you say with it being conscious rap? Like, do you think people want to hear that, or what makes you still stay conscious with your rap instead of going another way with it? That's more mainstream, that's more popish and stuff like that. What is your difference? What's your reasoning or not making that type of music?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, just hearing what people say. Like,
Mm.
well, you know every word to Sexy Red, but you say that you want like the real music. So when
Mm-hmm.
I give it to you, let me see what you're gonna do with it. Because this
Mm.
project that I'm working on is my first official project.
Okay.
So it's really gonna see like this is what you've been asking for. What are you really
Okay.
gonna do with it? It's not me like speaking on justice every single song. Like I said, it's relative music. Like it's like a Lauryn Hill album, to be honest.
Right.
Because even on Lauryn Hill's album, she was speaking about conscious stuff.
Okay.
But she still had her
Right.
fun music. You know, I still have my fun music on there. Like I have an anthem that's on there that I'm praying will be a South Carolina album. I mean anthem
Okay.
soon.
Okay.
But it's going to be what are we talking about type of thing. Because when I go to like throwback concerts per se, like I just went to Keith Sweat's concert. How I ended up there, I don't know. I just went to Keith Sweat's concert,
All right.
and when they were playing the older music, it's like,
Mm.
yo, y'all rock with this more than this newer music.
Know it.
So what if you get an artist that's a new artist that's in her 30s, because I'm still in my 30s, that is making music like this that we grew up on, that we love, and that we know that we fiend and need? What if you get that new artist? What are you gonna do with it? Are you really gonna support that person? Or are you gonna be like, oh, that's old school? That's no, it's not old school. That's what you said that we need. So what we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer that question, we're gonna find out.
Right. And so that's what I was talking with Bree Tori about with the last interview, or what last released interview, is that I think in hip hop, it's that ageism stuff. It not
Mhm.
only with like, you starting to rap at a certain age, but the music you make is sounding too old. Nobody want to hear it. There's even people around our age too. If it's sounding too old, they don't want to kind of hear. I'll take that back. It's more so I'll say the newer generation. More so like they don't want to hear the older style type of rap and everything. Now I can maybe to a point. I know you. I remember I looked at a couple of things. You said you were looking at a lot of stuff when hip hop was incepted on and everything. Maybe not that far back. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Stuff
No.
like
No.
that.
No. It's funny, I had a hilarious conversation with somebody recently about how his rap used to sound. It
Yeah.
was like literally step by step. I went to the store,
Yeah.
and now, oh no, I ain't talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
It
still
needed
have
to evolve.
a sound to it, you know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
just what we talking about in the music. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay, cool. I'm glad you made that distinction. But yeah, but that's what you hear with the newer generation. They like we don't want to hear that old stuff. You got some people don't respect Tupac, Biggie, and all that stuff like that. Because I mean, quite frankly, they wasn't born when he was out, and everything.
Mm,
When he died, I was 10, so I didn't really know much about him, and everything coming from a Christian background and all that stuff like that.
mhm,
So you get those type of where they don't have that same love or knowledge of that person, so that connection probably won't be there. But I think it should be a gap of where they should like learn about what came before them, how this music came to be. But at the same time, they are in a newer generation. So I don't know what it would take, but I like that you had made that distinction on it. Listening to the music, I didn't. You mentioned some other music that I didn't see, so I mostly use Apple Music or whatever. So I only see the 3 songs. So do you have anything else on any other platform?
A couple of songs I mentioned are gonna be on my upcoming project, so they haven't been
Ah,
released
okay,
yet.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's
So
why I
that
didn't
was
see
just
them.
like a
Okay,
little sneak peek to
okay,
the
okay, okay. Cool. I'm getting
Yeah.
a sneak peek then. Okay, cool. All
Yeah,
right,
but I
that's
do
what's up.
have a song
All
that's
right.
coming
So, but
out on the first
go
though.
ahead. My bad.
Oh no, you good.
Say
You
again.
good. I do have a song, a new song that's coming out on the first.
Okay. All right. Okay. What's the name of that? We can talk about that. And then I'm gonna go back to what I was finna say. What's the name of that?
Right. It's called Catch a Vibe. It's my
Catch a
first
vibe.
full R&B song because normally
Okay.
it's hip hop and R&B. It's my first full R&B song that I'm releasing, starting up the new year good, telling you, catch a vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
basically talking about how you have those days where it's like, it's been a day. I just need to chill. I just want to catch a good vibe. It's so much going on in the world. So, yeah, that's what it's about.
Okay. All right. So basically bringing in the new year with a refreshing song and so forth, so you can reflect, but definitely to go forward for the new year in a sense. If I'm making the right assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Cool. All right. Cool. Listen to the songs that I have heard. definitely. And I looked at a clip or two on Instagram that you had said, and you said a lot of your influence comes from the 80s and 90s rap, and you have also said that here today as well. I heard "Wake Up" and that sample, Gangsta Boo sample. I don't know if she's anybody sampled it before her, but I
Mm.
did hear that, and everything, where them dollars at, and everything on "Wake Up," yeah, and everything like that. So I liked that, and then "Solid," that was another sample. I don't know quite where that sample came from, but I do like those two songs and so forth. And you do hear that you got that 80s, I ain't gonna say 80s, 90s, early 2000 type of flow and everything too. Why would you say you picked that those decades and everything to get your flow from or whatever, and not like go into a more modern or newer flow?
Honestly, it just happened.
Okay.
It just happened. Like I did another podcast interview where I was talking about how I didn't even know that I could rap. And
Hmm.
this lately has been my first time actually speaking about how I started rapping, because a lot of people think,
Hmm.
"Oh, did you grow up always rapping?" No, I was singing first. I didn't even know I could.
Yeah.
So when the
Okay.
producer had told me, "You're gonna rap this song," I was like, "No." Like, I was scared. I was terrified.
Right.
Like I said, this is gonna sound stupid. It's gonna sound
Yeah.
crazy, like how the Tory was when she was playing Lil Kim on
Hmm.
Biggie's movie.
Uh.
Terrible.
Yeah. I think it was called Notorious. Yeah, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Terrible. It's how I thought it was gonna be. But he said no. Like, you're starting out. Even if I played the music that I did when I first started rapping, it would sound completely
mhm.
different because I'm in my bag now with it. But
Okay.
he's no, it's you have the potential to really be a dope rapper. You got the rhymes,
Okay.
you don't have to have nobody write for you. So
Okay.
let's do it. Let's do it. So
Okay.
yeah.
And you
And
know
so
that
that just
writing.
my flow just came. It just happened.
Okay, yeah, okay, cool. I feel you. And you know that writing, especially in hip hop, we want you to write your own rhymes. But if we going back into when 80s and 90s when they were writing their own rhymes, that's a
Mhm.
little different. You heard the Drake talks on him, writing, he not writing all his raps and stuff like that and
Yeah.
everything, and how that kind of put a stain on his legacy and everything. But yeah, you writing your own rhymes, that definitely true to the 80s and 90s, even the early 2000s as well. Yeah. So basically, so how long have you been doing the rapping for? And then you say you doing R&B first. So how long have you been doing R&B, and how long have you started with the hip hop?
Like I said, I've always sang, especially
Okay.
growing up in the choir. The choir wasn't optional. We was one of
Okay.
those. That's how my mama was. She said, "No, I don't care if you tired. You going to choir rehearsal and you singing at both services on Sunday." So it
Right.
was
I
just,
already know.
growing up singing. And so in high school, I started actually recording. Um, of course, in somebody's closet, which is what it
Hmm.
normally is. Cool.
Yeah.
So that's how I learned how you can actually lay down a song. Like, I would watch the producer, how he would cut it from doing your verse to doing the chorus and everything. So I fell deeper in love with that.
Okay.
And my biggest influences are with R&B and what we're singing is Michael
Hmm.
Jackson, Beyonce.
Yeah.
They're hard workers.
Right.
So I learned from them, don't just pay attention to what you are doing, watch what everybody that's working around you is doing too, because it
Hmm.
helps you craft.
Right.
So with that, when I started rapping, I did the same thing. I would listen to
Okay.
how excuse me, I would listen to how the producer
Okay.
would say, "We're gonna, so now you're gonna do your ad libs," and I'm like, "What is the ad lib?" "Oh, that's
Yeah.
the ad lib. That's what. Oh, that." That's
Yeah.
learning. Ad lib with R&B, but when it comes to hip hop, it can be
Hmm.
different.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's different. So when I started hip hop, that was around 2012 as far as rapping. Yeah,
Okay.
that was about a year after I had my son, because that was when I was at the point where I don't care what it is. If I get an opportunity, I'm jumping on it. Just a go
Hmm.
getter.
Yeah.
Anything before you learn, like, you can't always say yes to things.
Right.
So I really, really learned how important it is when you're actually laying down the song for both hip hop and
Hmm.
R&B. how important it is to not just do something quick, even if you have to go and listen to the song in your car a few times and say, well, when I go back in the studio, let me fix this part before I actually finalize the song. So that's been my journey with hip hop and R&B. And my live performances really made me fall in love with my rapping
Okay.
because I would do songs like Juicy by Biggie.
Right.
And
Okay.
that taught me how universal that song is. I can be at like a older people's event or like a younger people's event.
Mm.
Everybody loves that song. Everybody know that song word for word.
Right.
I could put the mic out and everybody singing it, word for word.
Right.
So
Right.
my live performances really helped me with getting into my flow of
Mm.
rapping.
Yeah.
Even when I'm doing a cover song for somebody else, I still make it my own type of
Okay.
thing. So yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
it's been a journey. It's been a
Okay.
journey, but
Yeah.
I'm very grateful that I can listen back to that older music I did or to the older performances that I did and see how much I've grown. Like I literally put myself through artist development, which a lot
Okay.
of people don't do nowadays.
Right.
They just want to jump out and just do it. But no, I look back at a lot of my shows and I'm like, "Ooh, girl, oh no."
Yeah.
But at the time, I thought, "Oh, this shit is it." No, it wasn't. It was okay at the time, but that's because that was the younger you, where you had to grow and
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And mostly it's always gonna be, the more you keep at your craft and you want to evolve, you don't really want to stay the same. You want to definitely
right.
get better and better and so forth. So, and to your point, when you do R&B, the structure is a lot easier than it is with doing a hip hop, a rap bar, and everything, because you only coming up with like eight bars on a R&B song, then the bridge most times, stuff like that. Then you go back into it and so forth. But with hip hop, it's you got to have a full 16 before you get to that hook and so forth. So it's a different transition. So what was that transition like when you was coming from R&B and then starting to do your hip hop, lyrics and stuff like that? How was that?
Honestly, doing the hip hop songs are easier than doing the
It
R&B
easy to you?
songs.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because I can go in and rap, and woo, 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 boom, be
Yeah.
done.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, I get that. Uh, okay. I get that part. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm saying, okay, maybe the singing part of it, I get you on that. But I'm talking about like the writing part. Is the writing, I'm saying, is the same for you with that, or is the R&B, or is the R&B easier for you to write than it is? Or is the hip hop easier for you to write than the R&B?
The R&B is easier
Okay.
because I had to learn about with my hip hop, don't just put down the first line that comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
One of my mentors, G, had taught me that, and DJ Prince Ice. I worked with DJ Prince Ice, dope, legend, living legend. But they
Okay.
taught me that. So yeah, you dope with your writing, but let's talk about how that line could have been deeper if you said this. So it's one thing to have a ghostwriter, and it's another thing to have a mentor. You know what I mean? Like, let me throw you this line real quick, or let me tell you how the first two lines of this verse should be. And then you flow with it, and let me see what you're gonna do with it. You know what I mean? So they help me with understanding that when you're trying to make sure that your bars are so relevant and that your bars are understood, but at the same time, it's not gimmicky and something quick and something commercial. It's not always the first thing that comes to mind. Maybe you do need to meditate on this for a second, type of thing. But with the R&B, it's just like, oh, let me talk about love. Oh, he did this. He did, it's just like, easy,
Right.
easy flowing. But with hip hop and with the hip hop and with the R&B, it's like, a different mindset with it when you're writing it.
Okay. Yeah, that what I was saying. Like I can see the writing easier, but I didn't think about reciting it. Yeah, reciting it
Mhm.
might be a little bit different with the R&B. Yeah, the vocals gotta be a certain way.
Yeah.
And hip hop, sometimes you can almost talk, and it'll still sound good, and so forth. So
Mhm.
I get what you're saying on that. Now, you spoke on the ghostwriting part. Let's talk about that. Now, do you is you fully writing your, like, with the R&B, is already widely accepted that people get ghostwriters and stuff like that for their songs and so forth. And they might do their own writing in that aspect. But with you, do you write both all on your own, R&B lyrics and your hip hop lyrics? or do you get help sometime from for the R&B and then maybe strictly hip hop? You do everything to force your lyrics on with your hip hop lyrics.
It depends. I do get help. I do
Okay.
get help. Not as far as write this verse for me.
Okay. Yeah, that
As
was
far as
uh,
I wrote this verse, what you think about this?
yeah,
And that's why I said, like, even when we talk about growing up, Wu-Tang did that with each other. Like, they
yeah,
would compete with each other. Or even like
right,
Method Man, I saw an interview when he was talking about how one of his bros, like in Wu-Tang, would be like, hey, bro, but if you write this, like if you say that line in this way, that would be, type of, it's not
oh,
them,
yeah,
it's not somebody writing
yeah,
a verse for you. It's just having that
right,
person that's in the studio, like, hey, if you do this, it'll be different. You know what I mean? Type of
hmm,
thing. So I'm always open to getting help. And I'm not,
okay,
nobody should gets help.
hmm,
Neo is a
yeah,
writer, you know what I'm talking
right,
about? But
yeah,
even if he gives a song to Beyonce, she might say, well, I'm gonna change this line real quick. So it's no perfect
mm,
writer out there.
yeah,
I'm always open to
okay,
getting help. Yeah, always open
yeah.
to it.
Oh, oh yeah, I get that, help, and everything. You definitely because collaboration is the name of the game when you talking about music, making
I
music and
agree.
so forth. So the teamwork made the dream work, so to speak.
Yeah,
But what I'm saying, like in the sense of the bar for bar, somebody helping it, and just gave it to you. I'm saying, like, do you like is that like is it do you have that? Do you write your own stuff in a sense, or do you get help on the R&B side for somebody like, okay, Angel, think this song would be good for you, and they give you the whole song, and then versus your hip hop, you say, well, now I get the help, but at the same time, this is all me. I wrote all this, and everything. So then the person more told me maybe I need to do it with more aggression here, dial it down here, but all in all, these are my words and so forth. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's my words. It's my words.
On
One
both
of the
sides,
producers
on both.
on both sides, yeah. One of the
Okay.
producers that I work with, we were talking about how I'm trying to get out of sampling.
Mm-hmm.
So he gave me this song that he didn't sample, but it was kind of like the flow of it was kind of a sample to an older song by Tony Tony
Okay.
Tony. So he
Yeah.
wrote the first verse and then he was like, you do the second verse based on the vibe that I did for the first verse. And this is to help you to get into that realm of not sampling to be old school, but sampling to still stay relevant, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Not stay
Yeah.
relevant, sampling to still not throw it back type of
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
So yeah, so things like that have happened probably twice, but for the most part, I do write everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And what do you think about people on the hip hop side? Like I said, widely accepted on the R&B side, but on the hip hop side, what do you think about people who actually get people to write they rhyme and so forth instead of
I don't like it.
they rap? You don't like it? Okay. Why do
I don't
you don't
like
like
it.
it?
I don't like it because from what we're talking about how hip hop started, that's what
Yeah.
it
Okay.
is. It was them that wrote it,
Yeah.
not,
Uh
hey
huh.
bro, can you write this for me? That's not what hip hop is. You can
Okay.
always get a line thrown at you, but if you talking about you the best MC, no,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
That person that
Okay.
wrote it for you is you, it's just your voice coming out.
Right. Right. Yeah. But
So yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
but you get now, but you got them people that say that a person can write something, but they probably can't recite it. They can't rap it. What do you say to that? Do they just don't need to be rapping it, basically?
I
But go ahead.
mean, yeah,
Yeah,
no, no, that's fair. And that's a
yeah.
fair conversation to have because hip hop is so young. How we were just talking about the age with hip hop. Like there's no
Hmm.
cutoff age for it.
Yeah.
And hip hop just started 50 something years ago. So it's still young. Yeah, R&B and all of that been out longer than that.
Hmm.
So when we talk, maybe that can be something that's accepted, but the person that's coming out with it needs to be real about it. Like you don't write,
Yeah.
y'all write your
Yeah.
shit, bro. Like just be
Right. Right.
honest. Your delivery is it. Yeah, you got that,
Yeah.
but you didn't write it. Just be honest. Just like an R&B artist would say, oh yeah, just like Beyonce when she did Irreplaceable. Yeah,
Uh huh.
Neo wrote this, but
Uh,
I made it mine. You know what I
right.
mean?
Right.
So just be honest about it. Even when we
Okay.
talking about freestyling, I don't freestyle. Like if you ask me
Okay.
like to come up something off the top,
Yeah.
That's that I do struggle with, but I can write a freestyle and I can spit you something that I wrote.
I'm glad you
So
know.
at the same time, when we talk about conversations like that, people would say, "Well, you're not a real MC just because I can't freestyle." But when I'm about to spit to you, I did right though. I just
Yeah.
can't off the top with it.
Right, right. See, I'm glad. See, it's another thing I got to say to that and everything. But yeah, I'm glad you know that people think that freestyle is only coming from your head, and they not understanding because when it first before that was even a thing, they was writing a freestyle. Freestyle just mean you don't have a concept in mind. Like you don't whatever the title of a song is, you're not on that concept. You just coming from what's in your head and writing it down and then memorize. So it ain't no whole rhyme or reason to what you write. You just spitting to a beat or writing to a beat. People they ain't realizing that. So they think if you ain't doing it from your head, you're not, like you said, you're not a real MC. But I'm glad you know that assumption and everything, which bring me to my next point. Most women out here, they not really into hip hop. Most of the ones I have encountered, and they know a few people, know a few songs here and there, especially if it's tied with R&B and stuff like that and everything. But with you, a few things that I heard from you today that definitely tell you from that cloth of back in the 80s, 90s when that real hip hop, which is refreshing to hear. What would you say? Why would you say most women don't? I could be wrong, but this what I'm thinking. Like most women not really gravitate to hip hop more so than it would be than what they're doing R&B and so on and so forth.
Well, as far as rap, so are you separating rap and hip hop?
Okay, hip hop is the hip. I see. I like you, and everything. All right, all right. Yeah. So hip hop is the lifestyle. Yes. Okay. Rap. Yeah. So, but yeah, rap per se. Yeah. Why you think most women don't like hip hop rap in the sense, or the hip hop music in the sense, versus them listen to R&B and other forms of music.
Well, nowadays, I think that could be like a juggle type of conversation because of how powerful it is right now with the women that are with
Mm-hmm.
rap.
Yeah.
Even though they all talk about the same thing for the most part,
Yeah.
respect to them. There's a lot of women right now, and honestly, we can thank Nikki for waking that back up back in 2009.
Waking what up?
As
Exactly.
far as the women coming forward with being rappers, like we have
Okay.
more rappers as far as women. I'll say that. Not
Okay.
saying that Nikki started anything. Let me clarify that. I'm just saying since that happened, because of how much everybody loves her, how big the fan base
Mm-hmm.
grew. So many women out, even though they all do the same thing as Nikki, that's
Mm-hmm.
just, it's a lot more of a broad number of women as far as in rapping nowadays. As far as when we talk about women that listen to it, it could be because of the fact that a lot is not relevant to them. And
Okay.
that's to be honest,
I'm glad you
especially with
said that too.
men, how they talk to us in their rap. A lot of like Wale just dropped the best album, and a lot of people aren't listening to it because they still think about when he was in his feelings on Twitter back 10 years ago. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
still the conversation. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this nigga just in his feelings. No, Wale just dropped probably album of the year at the end of the year. What respect are you gonna give to that? And everybody, all of the main people, the big names out there are talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all still are talking against you, still not giving it a chance at all.
Yeah.
So I'll say that because a lot is not relevant to us. And even
Okay.
music that like my son would be playing or my nephew would be playing, I'm like, damn, man, I know that we had Project Pat back in the day. I know we had like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it was
Right.
we still have people that, gave us some kind of love. Everybody
Yeah.
is like this, bitch, that.
Yeah.
What we doing?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
would I want to go listen? Why would I even want to give your album a chance? Why would I
Mm-hmm.
even want to come to your show when you gonna talk shit to me the whole time?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it could be that they, even though it might be like a popular mainstream song, that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean that there's something that I want to support.
Right.
But I'll support Wale all day, every day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wale Cole. I had listened to that album one time. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. I listened to it while I
Yes,
was
it's
driving,
funny.
so I'm gonna have to like sit with it, and everything. But from what I heard, yeah, definitely, dope album. Yeah, but you got those like it's like with hip hop or just mainstream. It's just only a few people they checking for, and then everybody else just fall by the wayside. I think that need to change, and
Yeah.
everything. That's why we only just we get tired of stuff so much because we don't know any other music that's out there, and
Right.
everything like that. But yeah, I agree. Now you did bring up a valid point about that we might be the topic and everything might not be what most women are looking for. 'Cause I think about my sister, and she more R&B. She don't really know a lot of hip hop stuff, and she 2 years older than me. She's 41, and she's still listening to more R&B now to this day. But with that said, I now with the new like Megan Thee Stallion. Let's talk about her for a second. I believe she can really rap, and everything. She really cold with it. But I feel that same way. Cause me and my cousin were talking about this, like, the stuff that she talk about, other rappers, like you mentioned, Sexy Red and so forth. We just not their demographic. You know what I'm saying? And everything like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to listen to them because they talking about men and you heterosexual, and stuff like that. You ain't trying to listen to what they talking about in that sense, unless it kind of like meet you on a certain level and everything. Now, Glow really nice. She got some beats that come from that Memphis style back in the 90s,
Yeah.
2000s, stuff like that. So that's why I think a lot of men back when she first came out was liking her music and so forth. Because some of the stuff she was saying, if you just take out the guy part of it and put a woman in that same verse, it can still make sense and everything like that. But with most people's song, most women rap songs, not gonna say most, but the one that like your Sexy Reds and Megan Thee Stallion and stuff like that, what they be talking about, it's hard to listen to it. But I like I
Yeah.
say I did like, but I believe Megan Thee Stallion can rap though. With that said, like, what music would you think guys would have to make, and everything that would gravitate to that? Because I know it can't be all about love, but cause that's gonna be more R&B there. But like the Ja Rules of the world, and stuff like
Right.
that. But um, what music would have to make that you think that it can gravitate to that? I would say bridge the gap on both sides. Like when women rappers, I think that's why not a lot of guys listen to women hip hop, or sometimes they're not respected in certain spaces because they not talking about, shaking their ass, fucking all stuff like that or whatever. So what would you think about that?
I honestly think that somebody, that's a hard question, to be honest. You got me stumped.
Okay,
That's a hard question because
okay,
that question can go so many, the conversation with
mm-hmm,
that can go so many different ways, because I could say that maybe if, like, I could say, talk about Tupac, but at the same time, if I bring that up about Tupac, somebody in the room will say, but he said bitches, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, but he
mm-hmm,
ain't say that with every single song. So that's what I'm talking about. Every song that you putting out, I'm a
mm-hmm,
bitch, I'm a hoe, I
okay,
ain't shit type of thing,
yeah,
But then you never
mm-hmm,
talk about the good side. Like all women are
mm-hmm,
not like that. But when you
right,
got people like, and that goes to what our kids are listening to. Our kids are listening to this shit all the time. My son is a big fan of yours. So even though I still don't like my son listening to certain music. But his dad is saying,
okay,
how we snuck and listened to it. So let me talk to him
yeah, it gonna
about
happen.
what's right and wrong
Yeah,
about this. So that, because
yeah,
at the end of the day, our parents said don't listen
yeah,
to music with cursing. But we had our
uh-huh,
headphones on, with the burnt CD, like shit, I got my,
yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, it a way to get it. Yeah.
So this is what you're feeding to the next generation. And then when when you're starting to see the results of it, you pointing the fingers at the parents. No, we pointing fingers at you too, because you the one that always talked about this in your music. So it can't be that that same topic is the same thing all the time in what you're delivering. That's not what music is about. That's not what hip hop started on. Yeah, hip hop is always going to change, but hip hop is the most loved genre today in music.
Yeah.
Literally, you
Biggest
turn on
genre.
a commercial, it's a hip hop song. You
Mm-hmm.
watch the show or something, hip hop is gonna be in there some way.
Mm-hmm.
Always. You go to church, somebody done flipped the old hip hop song and made it a Jesus song. You know what I mean? Hip
Right.
hop is so universal and it's so big now. So what are we doing about it? Because we're not taking
Yeah.
care of hip hop. We're not taking care of hip hop the way that it's supposed to be taken care of, because you're always talking about the same thing that's so negative, that's feeding that next generation that's okay to have that mindset. Then when you seeing all of these younger people having so many kids and babies, so many broken homes. I mean, consistently just popping out babies,
Yeah.
consistently disrespecting the women and recording it, thinking that it's funny, like we live, blah blah blah. No, nigga, that's not okay. That's not okay. Tupac would be jumping up and down having a fit right now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel it got to be some accountability and some intention of what you're putting out there, instead of
right,
just really trying to make a buck, and trying to.
right.
And I get it to it on a business standpoint that there's sound advice, for a person to say, okay, this is what the people want to hear. This is what I'm gonna put out. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Because if you a smart business person, it's supply and demand. But at the same time, it's counterintuitive when you're putting out a certain type of message and then thinking somebody supposed to follow a different way and everything, like or not take your stuff seriously and everything. So I'm glad you say that, but I definitely appreciate but it's definitely on with the you got the Missy Elliott's that broke through and
Mhm.
Salt and Pepper and all this stuff like that. You got the women rappers and everything that definitely that you can listen to. I like Miss Ellie and everything. But the Rhapsodies, Tierra Whack, uh, what's the one the Crocodile one? What's her name? She came out recently with where she soaring. What's her name? She on Top Dog Entertainment.
Mhm.
What's her name? I'm gonna think about it. But those particular artists and everything, you definitely hear their music and stuff like that. You see what they putting out, but they get overshadowed by the one that's really like putting out poison, so to speak. Yeah, they
Right.
talking about what they do in the bed, what they spend money on this and stuff like that. They scamming guys and all that stuff like that. All that getting overshadowed. That I feel like the women can be put out in a more brighter light, but again, mainstream don't wanna hear that type of music. And I want to say to that, what do you think about that mainstream that say they don't want to hear the conscious rap because you say you are a country rapper and so forth. So why what do you think to that? They don't want to. They say they don't want to hear no music that make them think and feel a certain way. They just want to dance to something, vibe to something while they driving and stuff like that. What do you say to that?
My music is still gonna do that for you. It's still gonna
Okay.
make you vibe. It's still gonna make you dance. It's just the
Mm-hmm.
message that's in it is the message. It's something that we're talking about. It's not the
Mm-hmm.
same thing that everybody is saying over and over. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, what can you do for me? I got money. I got this. This what my booty
Yeah.
look like. This what boom boom boom.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
still fun music, you know? It's
Okay.
still good R&B, it's still good hip hop, it's still music that's gonna make you dance, music that you can play in the club, music that you can play when you chilling. So it's still that. It's still that. It's just the
Okay.
fact that I'm not sitting here talking like a sailor at you
Right.
or giving you the same thing that you just said that you don't wanna continue to hear. You want
Okay.
something good, like, and it's when they did the karaoke thing, it's some traveling karaoke thing where they just play the music and everybody's singing. They was playing
Mhm.
Mariah Carey, "We Belong Together," and they was playing all the guys that was there, and they
No.
was singing like they was Mariah. And I'm like, "You see what I'm talking about? We grew up
Uh,
on good music." All the hard guys in the room that even the guys that you can tell is probably gang related, singing Mariah Carey. 'Cause it's good music. It's good music.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And Dolce, that's who it was. That's what
Doja
I was
Cat.
trying to say. Yeah, Dolce. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she's dope. She's dope. And Doechii, very underrated.
Right.
Doechii, she's a rapper too. She's very underrated.
Oh yeah, that I'm just saying, get overshadowed and so forth. Now, don't get me wrong, it definitely need to be a balance. You just can't be just all conscious, and everything like that. But yeah, I can respect Kendrick Lamar with his music and stuff like that. He uber conscious, but he definitely know how to make certain, songs and everything where people can rock to it in a certain way where they can listen to it in the club, but at the same time, he gonna make you think at the same time with it or
Right.
whatever. So, but yeah, I do agree that it need to be some type of balance, because yeah, we like to have fun and everything. Everything ain't got to be all preachy and stuff like that as well, but it need to be some intentionality to what you are putting out there, and accountability of what you're putting out there too as well and
Mhm.
whatever. So, but I get you on that. So with R&B and hip hop, you started with R&B. That's what was you were doing for the most part. Then you branched out into hip hop. What would you say you like doing the best? Is it hip hop or R&B?
It's a balance.
Is it
It's a
balance? Okay.
yeah, yeah, it's a balance. I can't put one over the other.
Okay.
I could never imagine even trying to say I love R&B more than hip hop or vice versa. It's a
Okay.
balance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and nowadays they kind of blend in with each other anyway,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. I mean, when you think about it, and stuff like that, you got Chris Brown come to mind. I believe Chris Brown to me is a better rapper than he is a singer. Not that he
Mm.
say he can't sing, but or he not haven't made no good music singing. But I believe I like him rapping better, and everything like that. But I like how he can definitely blend the two, and everything as well. I would
Yeah.
say better. I would say better than Drake though, and everything like that. I don't know if you agree with that, but I'll say better than Drake. Just Drake just went more popular with it or whatever since he was more rapping first
Yeah, he
than
was just
you see.
popular with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah. Okay. So now let's talk. Okay. So let's talk about this first album. When is this first album gonna be released?
It'll be around springtime. I don't have an exact date, but it will be around springtime.
Do you
Yeah, it's called This Is 1990 Established.
okay? All right. 1990 established. Or like how many tracks is it gonna be?
Haven't decided yet. It's between about 12 to 14, trying to not
Mm,
do too much, you know. We used to
okay.
have albums that had 20 something songs, but no, retention is too low now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's crazy. Not like since this is your first album, why album and not more singles, so to speak? Because since you stated with the only like 10 or 12 songs, why you think like why not more singles right now in this juncture of your career? Doing is it more a hip hop album or is R&B or is it a blend of both?
It's a blend of both.
Blend.
And that's what I have been doing. That's why I'm not gonna wait. Well, that is why I'm waiting until the spring and not
Hmm.
dropping the album now.
Okay.
Because like I released Solid. I don't know if Solid's gonna be on the album, but
Okay.
Solid was a single that I put out. I
Okay.
released Bounce Back
Yeah. I heard.
and I'm about to release Catch a Vibe. And then I'll
Okay.
probably release a few more singles before I actually drop the album out there just to get, more attention to it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, not like the rollout singles. I'm talking about like just singles, period. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, from when we grew up, yeah, they did a couple singles before they rolled out their actual album, but not
Mhm.
that. So yeah, to tell you from that era. But I'm saying like now with everybody, like I say, it's a popcorn or microwave type society when they listen to music nowadays. Like, so why not just do all singles versus coming out with an album.
Because I think that it's the right move to
Mm,
continue to do me and not
okay,
focus on what everybody else is doing. Because
okay,
like you said, it's like here one day and gone the next. It could be like a nice song, but and I'm trying to not trying to, my goal is to be longevity, to have classic music that people can
okay.
actually look back on 10 years from now, like, oh yeah, that's a classic. I remember when that came out. I remember
Hmm.
where I was when that dropped. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So, just giving everybody the full album to be able to
Okay,
soak in, I think
I
is the
got
best thing, yeah.
you. Okay. So, what was your process? I always ask y'all artists like, what are they process when they approaching an album or when they approaching a song? So, I guess to both points, like what was your process to approaching this album, like conceptualizing it from the name and to your track list, how you gonna have it arranged and so forth? What would you say your process and style to it, and then also what the whole process and as a whole for the experience of making this because this is gonna be your first album, right?
Yeah.
What so kind of give me a like what's all that about or like in a sense.
So, I have recorded, a project before, it just never
Hmm.
came out. So,
Okay.
this wasn't, like, my first rodeo with actually putting a project
Okay.
together. But my approach this go round was learning from the last time as far as not trying
Okay.
to be um so not gimmicky, but not trying to be so quick with it and allowing myself to grow. So I've
Mm.
been working on this project since the pandemic, to be honest.
Okay.
That's how deep it is. That's how much it means to me. That's how
All right.
well put
That's what,
together that it's going to be.
okay.
it started out that it was going to be a mixtape. That's why it's called
Okay.
this 1990 Established. And a lot of music that I did have on it was a lot of sampling, like a lot
Okay.
of sampling.
Okay.
But my growth and seeing what crowd and what audience I need to cater to showed me, no, we need to do original music. Even if it has some sampling with it, it still needs to be my music and my song. So that's what I took with each song, like the approach with
Okay.
each song. One of the
Okay.
songs is me using the beat to Tupac Old School, and it's
Okay.
using the same concept, how he was talking about this is what we used to, I remember Miss
Mm.
Magic, man, like whatever,
Yeah.
all the stuff that he grew up on.
Yeah.
But there's no song for us in our generation for something like so it's just I'll be so excited when everybody hear that because it's talking about everything that we grew up
Yeah.
on. Like we had hopscotch too, we the ice cream man came at 12 o'clock on the dot. So I go on my
Right.
crayon box, and see the change I got. How much you got?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
collectively, this how much we had. We had the same.
Right. Right.
So just putting together the project was a great process because of the fact that it's me. It's
Okay.
me. So I had fun with it because these are things that I went through. These are things that
Mm.
people around me went through. These are things that everybody is dealing with and going through in the conversations I have on a daily basis. So it's
Yeah.
me, and it's not me trying to be somebody else or listening to other people tell me, well, this is what you need to do because this is what such and such is doing, or this is what's going to make it be an overnight sensation. No,
Yeah.
overnight sensations are literally overnight, and then we don't hear from them again. So that's my main goal with this, for it to not be something that's like, oh yeah, this is dope. All right, next. This would be something like next week after
Right.
this drops. You
Yeah.
still listen to it front to back. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. And like, so what would you say your, not just like, the 80s, 90s style, what would you say your type of style is, like a flow, you or, fan? I heard the music, but I want you to kind of expound on what all you do. Are you like a fast rapper, technical rapper, or you know, very lyrical, laid back? What would you say your style is for when you rap and everything? And then also that same question for R&B.
I would say it's all of that, to be honest. It depends on the
Okay.
song. If the
Okay.
song is chill, that's how my flow's gonna be. If the song is
Okay.
hype, that's how my flow's gonna be. If it's a fast song, the beat is fast, then I'm probably gonna rap fast on it, but then I might slow it down a little bit too. Then I might
Okay.
come back fast with it. So it's just, it
Okay.
depends on the song, to be honest. So I'm
Okay.
not like how how Rakim is. Rakim was
Mhm.
always Rakim. His flow was
Yeah.
it. That was it.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's just like, changing up the flow sometimes, especially if the song is like meaningful, then I need to be like, more mellow with my flow. But if we
Okay.
having fun, then, what we talking about, we having fun. So it
Right.
depends on the song. And the
Okay.
same thing with R&B.
Okay. Same thing with R&B. Okay.
Yeah, it
I
depends
got you.
on the song. It depends on the mood. It depends on the tone. It depends on how I'm feeling at the time. So
Mm.
that's why it's going to be so meaningful when people actually listen to it. People are going to
Okay.
really feel it and understand it because it's not coming from, I'm doing this because this is what I was told to do. I'm doing this
Yeah.
because it's me.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
I'm an artist for the people, by the people.
Right. I got you. And so being your authentic self and everything, right?
Hmm.
And I think that's very important too. Being yourself. A lot of rappers out there portraying a certain image, and then when they go out there in the real world, people see, oh yeah, he ain't like that or she ain't like that. What she be talking about in the album? Then now they fan base start dropping off because people seeing the real them. So I believe coming as your authentic self, people will gravitate to that more. It might take a while. It might be a little difficult. You're not following a trend or a certain type of image. People gravitating to you, they like you because you is you, and you ain't changing from that. So you can always be yourself with whatever you're putting out and whatever you're doing out in and out the music, I would say. So I see here too that you have like opened up for Dougie Fresh, Chubb Rock, Lick Rick, and that's interesting. And Young M.A. And then also Zaytoven had reached out to you to work as well. So how was it open up for those acts and or those artists? And also what's the info with Zaytoven and so forth? Like, is y'all gonna do something or it just dissolves or what?
So opening up for them was very very lesson. It was like a lesson learned
Okay.
each performance.
Yeah.
Because it's a different crowd, especially when I
Mm.
went from Dougie Fresh and Chubb Rock to Young and
Mm.
May.
Okay.
Dougie Fresh and Chubb Rock was, of course, the older crowd. Because I
Mm.
mean, we love Dougie Fresh, but
Right.
you wouldn't think, let me buy a ticket
Nah.
at our age, because I was
Right.
in my 20s at the time. But when I opened up for Dougie Fresh, I saw him before he performed, and I went up to him and I was telling him, I opened up for you. So he basically gave me a lesson for the day. When he walked off stage, she asked me, "Did you learn something?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did learn something." Basically how what I took from it was how I kept trying to get the crowd to come to me, and they supported me, from the seats, et cetera, et cetera. But how he demanded it was like, "Oh,
Okay.
this is what we doing." So yeah, that was like a big, big opportunity for me because of the fact that it helped me understand that this is a legend. This is literally the pioneer. He is literally the fifth element of hip hop.
Yeah.
And my dad had to open my eyes to that. Like, do you know who you were talking to?
Yeah.
You understand that he saw something in you, some potential. Do you understand what the hell just happened type of thing? The fifth element of hip hop
Yeah.
is the beatbox, you know what I mean?
Beatbox. Yeah.
So I'm going from Dougie Fresh and Chubb Rock to Young and May, which was my crowd because Young and May is around my age. I still performed Biggie Juicy and everybody knew every word, you know what I mean? It showed me that I can cater to that audience and my audience at the same time, the younger crowd at the same time. But it just made me it made me humble myself, honestly. Because even though it was big opportunities, especially Slick Rick, like, come on.
Yeah.
Another
That
pioneer.
was it. Yeah. That's why
Another,
I said that was interesting. Yeah. Go ahead. My
yeah.
bad.
And my sister was there too. My sister just passed a few years ago, but that was her last time seeing me perform. So that's why that show really, really means a lot to me. Just knowing that she met Slick Rick, I helped, and
Okay.
she was like almost jumping up and down for it, But they're the same people that they put on for on TV. Humble
Yeah.
people, just nice people, good, not I'm the shit type of person. Like, they're the same people that you see on TV. They're the same
Okay.
energy, probably even
Yeah.
more humble in person, to be honest.
Right.
Young and May, I didn't get to meet Young and May, but I did get to see her perform after I performed. And it was
Okay.
like basically a lesson for me that being relevant at our age is so important because of how I just opened for Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick, and I didn't open for Slick Rick yet. I just opened for Dougie Fresh and Chubb Rock before Young and May, like a week or two before that. But seeing her
Okay.
perform was just like, yo, we can still do this shit.
Yeah.
We can still do this even at our older
Right.
age. We're not
Yeah.
older, and that's the problem. The 30s is not old.
Yeah.
We
That's
not
what I'm
like 50,
saying.
60 years old trying to start out. Like, come on, just
Right.
because you're not 19, 20.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, even if we did start at that age, I still think, that's what I'm saying. The ageism in rap, I feel like it got to go. Nobody in the other genres, they saying they got to stop when they hit 30. But
right.
it's like with hip, I understand the younger crowd, younger artists had to start it. It started off with young rappers and stuff like that in their teens and stuff like that. It had to get started some kind of way. So there had to be young, trendy guys and women and everything doing it. But now it's getting older. I don't think it need to be that way. And everything. I heard people like Lil Webby, he start rapping. He like, what he gonna rap at about when he 30? He didn't want to be a 30 years old rapping. You hear Andre 3000 talking about that. He almost 50. He like, what he gonna be rapping about? But I think too, it was more with him. He didn't really want to rap too much, from what I hear. He didn't want to really rap too much anyway. But so that could be a lot of that, and everything. But you do have that ageism in rap where like like what this old man or woman doing, still rapping and stuff like that. But they don't say that much they don't say that at all in other genres. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because they're limiting themselves at this
Okay.
point, to be honest, because of what's being put in their ear. I honestly
Mm.
think that's what it is because there's always something to
Okay.
talk about when we talk about hip
Yeah.
hop. It's always,
Yeah.
no matter what age you are, even if you got to talk about what's going on with you in your back. I mean, it's always, it's always something.
Right.
That's somebody.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's something we need to hear, and that's what like with Andre, he like what I'm gonna rap about colonoscopy and everything. Like, yeah, man, rap about
Yes,
that. Like, I can be,
exactly what you're gonna
I can
do.
be yeah, I can be listening to that on the way to getting a colonoscopy. You know what I'm
But
saying?
I
So
mean, for them, it could be that they've been through so much in the industry, especially with
yeah,
Andre 3000.
yeah,
It
I
could
think
be
they
that
get
they're
burnt
just
out.
tired. It could be
Yeah,
that they're
get burnt
tired.
out.
Yeah, they're burned out, which is okay. Which is okay.
Yeah,
But at the same
yeah,
time, just like how Outkast got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Andre 3000 was there for the acceptance speech, but that nigga was backstage when they performed, and I was so mad. And I'm like,
yeah.
yo, this was probably the last time we would see y'all together performing. Even if you
Right.
come out there play a flute for a second, at least come out here and do something.
Yeah, I heard
Respect to
people was
Andre, but
upset
I was
about that.
really looking forward to that. I was really, it's
Hmm.
not us asking you to do new music at that point. This is us,
Right.
this is you accepting your flowers. Come on now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I heard a lot of people kind of salty about that, and everything. But yeah, I don't know, like, but I do commend people who still were doing it back then in the '90s or '80s and stuff like that. Still do. Cause LA Cool J came out with an album, man. Slick Rick, when we talking about that, he came out with an album this year, I think. And,
Nas just came out with like 3, 4
yeah,
out.
yeah. He been on a run, yeah. So
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg don't came out with an album since, especially since he don't got Death Row again and so forth. So I commend them to keep it going, and everything like that. Even so we can at least in our 30s, 40s can show how these are us in our 30s and 40s can see how it's done to keep the torch going, especially because by the time these the teens and 20 years old come up, it can hip hop can dissolve in my opinion, if you keep saying I'm gonna wait till I'm after 25, 30 I'm gonna stop. It ain't growing, past that 20-year mark. You see what I'm saying? That 20-year old age mark or whatever that time is or that generation is. But it can't evolve that way. Or it will evolve, but then it'll stop, and then until the next generation come in. Okay, but yeah, so with that said, I know now we talked about it a lot today, and I want to talk about your being a philanthropist and so forth. What type of work are you doing with that?
Well, this summer I did home economics with a
Mm,
lot of youth. And so that's where I'm basically starting as far as with community work with the youth
okay,
because they
okay,
really need, especially the pandemic set them behind with a lot. Learning things at home, like a lot of them didn't know how to change a light bulb. And we're talking about
yeah,
teenagers.
yeah,
But you can't fault the parents, especially when they were at that age during the pandemic where they should have learned it then, but the parents weren't thinking about that. They was trying to stay alive. They was working from home. They was still making sure you doing good at school, with multiple hats. So this is helping to catch up where they're supposed to be at. And at the same time, giving them what they should already be given in school. Because growing up, they had home economics. My grandmother, after she passed away, we were looking through her yearbook. They learned everything. They learned about the banks. They learned about like she would come home and tell her mom I sewed a dress today in class. Like, what the
yeah,
hell? They learn how to sew in school. They learn how to do the things that they're supposed to be doing at home. So I taught them things like that, changing the light bulb, changing batteries, folding clothes. They had a lot of fun with that, learning how to fold towels and washcloths in their clothes, learning how to do their laundry. We had culinary arts where I taught them some things about cooking, which of course, as a kid, that's exciting to you. Like I can finally cook. I don't do this at home, but I'm like, now you can go home and do it.
right,
My mom helped me put on a tea party for them, which of
okay,
course the boys at first was like, "We're not coming to that's for girls." And I'm like, "No, this is an etiquette class for you to understand how you're supposed to sit at the table. For you to understand you pull out the chair for the lady, you hold the door for the lady. You put your napkin in your lap. This is the side that the fork goes on. This is the salad fork. This is your soup spoon. Different things that are not being taught to them. Which, like I said, we can't fault the parents because this is something that should be taught to them already
right,
by default.
yeah,
So that's where my foot is right now with the philanthropy work as far as home economics. Things I want to have a class with young boys, especially that don't have a father figure at home to learn how to change a
okay,
tire. because absolutely no reason why you're in college and you still don't know how to change a tire. The men that are walking around that didn't grow up with a father still open the class to them too. Come learn how to change a tire. Just because you're grown, it's okay. Come learn how to do it though, because there are a lot of gatekeepers in life where a man will say, he's a grown man, I'm not gonna teach him that shit. Why not? Like, why not? That's the problem. That's the
Yeah,
problem. We're supposed to
yeah,
help each other out.
yeah. I don't
And
know what that.
my big goal is to have my own youth center where it can be accessed for free to all the youth in the community, where you come play basketball at a safe place. You don't have to worry about going to the rec center because they may be having basketball practice and there's no free ball. There's always going to be free ball at the youth center. There's always going to be snacks where you can come if you don't have snacks at home, where you can come here and get it. You can have dance classes. We have our home economics classes. We have like just all the resources that you should already have given to you in your community.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah. You definitely doing thing. Okay. So yeah. So basically, it's just an extension of the music you are already making and so forth, and you putting it out. On side of the music, but you're doing it in the street and everything for your philanthropy work. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think that's something, I don't know why we lost all that stuff in for his home ec and you should know how to balance a checkbook. You should know at least the basics about finances and stuff like that. I think that's some of that, I don't want to get too much into that. Some of that is by design. It's a reason for that, and stuff
Yeah.
like that or
Because
whatever.
I mean, even with my parents, when I got to college, a lot of things they didn't think about because they had it in school.
Yeah.
And they had to ask us, me and my sisters, you didn't learn this in school? You didn't? And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
y'all did, but we didn't learn that shit. So I mean, we didn't fault them for it. They like, well, let me jump on it and make sure you good. At the same time, they shouldn't have to do that because that's what we go to school for.
Right.
That should be in the curriculum. Y'all had it when y'all was in school. Why we can't have it? And we're not
Yeah.
gonna talk about how much money it's gonna cost. If this is what we
Yeah.
need, then this is what we need.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Find the funding for it somewhere, cause y'all got it. Cause y'all making us take. Why do I have to take like physics 2 and 3? I don't want to do this shit in life. I just need to learn how to. I don't want to do this. I want to do music. Let me take the algebra 1, algebra 2. Boom, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to
Yeah.
go to calculus and like, no, I don't need to do all that.
Yeah.
But give
Yeah.
me the classes that I actually need. Stop requiring me
Yeah.
for me to take these advanced classes that I really don't need in life,
Right.
unless
Yeah.
that's my career path.
Right, yeah, and a lot of it just fluff, depending on what what it is and what you're trying to do and so forth. I have seen certain schools like reform schools and like where they kind of like have them like based on their interests and stuff like that or whatever. They have them. They already put them into the position and let them try it out and all the stuff in high school and stuff like that. But you ain't got too many schools doing it and everything. But I think to every because the certain things like what they say school is made for is really like to make us more just workers pretty much. It ain't to really teach us how to be entrepreneurs or find out what we like and stuff like that. And you guys, I think of my son now, he kind of having a hard time figuring out what major he want to do, So, and I think that could have been maybe not solved fully, but at least they could have that some certain things they program they can do in school, high school, where they can try out for certain things, and so they can kind of get an idea of what they want to do by the time they get to college. But it's so many things the school system I feel like it be doing. So I commend you on what you doing with that and so forth. That's
Thank you.
definitely needed. Yes, no, you welcome. And with that said, like I said, we talked about a good deal today. Is there anything that we haven't discussed today that you would like to talk about?
No, because we talked about a lot, like you said.
Yeah,
Nothing I can
right.
think of off the top, but hey, I got good music coming out. Good
Yeah,
music that's gonna be classic music, something that you can vibe to. So many different topics that we talking about in the
yeah,
music. So much talent that's on the project as well. A lot of local
yeah,
artists I have on the project. A lot of local producers that I have on the project that should be, global, but we about to be
yeah,
global.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
about to say
it's
you.
a lot of good vibe. I got a lot of goals in 2026. So yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. Now you didn't talk about we were talking about these last two things, then we can wrap it up. Yeah, now you didn't talk about Zaytoven. Like what happened with that? Is it in the works or has dissolved or what happened?
It was one of those situations where the producer is looking for an artist to work with, but they
Mhm.
want all the money. And
Okay.
it was like, but you said you was trying to help out like an independent artist, this, that, and the third. But oh, you just
Mm,
want money. Okay.
mm,
I don't have
okay.
$100,000 to give you, sir. I'm a single
Yeah.
mother working 9 to 5. I ain't got
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, he did ask me for my budget, but I just know that my budget ain't the budget that's the
He
budget.
looks for. Okay. Okay. I see. And you know, not to say he doing it, but I know that I have heard some artists was doing that, like where I'm finna do a feature for you, and then you know send me this much money, and then they had some kind of middleman that was reaching out to these independent artists. I don't know if you heard about it, but they was like, okay, so and so want to do a feature with you and everything like that. He want 45,000. They send that and everything, thinking they'll get a feature, and that person don't even hit them up, or if they do a feature, they don't shout it out or anything like that or whatever. It just kind of go dead, you know, and
Oh
everything like
yeah,
that.
no,
So
I don't think he's not that type because I've seen him work with independent artists. It's just the
mm,
fact that those artists probably got the funding from somewhere for it.
okay, okay,
So he yeah, he's about his word. I can say
yeah,
that. I just didn't
okay.
have
No, oh no,
to.
I wouldn't try to put that on his name. So I was just saying that like I have heard those scams out there, you know, and everything like that. Okay, and my last question is, all right, so we're getting the blend of R&B and hip hop album with let me get it right, with the this is 1900 1990 established at 1900. This is 1990 established. It made it sound old, right? You know,
Because
like,
it was the
yeah,
1900s.
yeah, yeah. It's in the 1900s, but you know, they wouldn't rap him then though. It was a whole lot of other stuff going on. But yeah, this is 1990 established. You got the blend of R&B and hip hop going on. So is it a R&B album too? That like just fully R&B album in the works, and then maybe a full hip hop album in the works.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay,
Imma see how
okay,
this one does first, and then
okay,
I'll go from there. Yeah, I'm not sure
okay.
yet. That's a good
Yeah,
question, though.
okay.
I
So
don't know
like,
yet.
yeah, okay. See what people feel out and gravitate to and stuff like that. Okay. All
Yeah.
right, cool. All right, so out of everything that we talked about today, what would you say has been the biggest takeaway that people can get from this conversation?
Just like I said, I'm a artist for the people, by the people.
Okay,
I'm not selfish. I'm not about what Imma do because just because I said so. I'm about the people, and I always knew that my purpose was gonna be something for the people, so I'm fulfilling it now.
okay,
I'm walking in my destiny, my
okay.
purpose,
Definitely,
walking in my purpose. That's the word I was looking for, walking in my purpose.
that's what's up. And like, what would you say to the new inspiring artists, and even the one that's in the trenches already? What would you say? What would be a bit of advice you would give them to, to find their voice and be real, be their authentic self in whatever music or genre that they going into and so forth?
It's just that, be yourself. Be yourself. You know what you wanna talk about. You know what is in your heart. You know the words that God has given you. Put it on the paper. Put it on the paper. Put it on the vinyl and put it out and let the people hear it.
Okay. Okay, I like that. I'm glad. I thank you for sharing that. All right. So, and again, let everybody before we close out here today, let everybody know again where to find you, maybe book you, and just know more about Angel Danielle.
You can find me on Instagram, Angel Danielle 12, on Facebook, Angel Danielle, on TikTok, I'm Angel Danielle underscore 12. For booking, you can book me at Angel Danielle Bookings at gmail.com.
All right, cool. Y'all check her out. No, I say thank you for coming on the show. It's been a delight, very refreshing. Like I said, I
Thank
don't
you.
really talk to a lot of women. Now I'm doing that now, but like in other spaces, I don't really talk to a lot of women that like hip hop and everything like that. It's more if I'm talking to somebody about music, it's more about R&B. So it's very refreshing. People, that I can you can talk to somebody that talk to women that love the craft of making hip hop music and everything as well too. So
Thank
definitely.
you.
But again, say again.
I was saying thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah. But appreciate you for coming on. And I say and here's to a great 2026 for you and there going on. And when you get the album out, definitely love to, hear it, and also how it's going for you and everything. And here's the future collaboration going forward.
Yes, yes. Thank you
All
so
right,
much for
all
having
right,
me.
cool. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so that's it. I'm your host, Trey the Fit Artist of Sculpt N Create, and my guest, Angel Danielle. We out of here. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. If you're looking for fitness coaching to help you reach your goals, want to join our animated network for fitness guidance, collaborations, networking, and community, or are interested in being a guest on the show, check out the links in the description. Stay creative, stay fit, and we'll holler at you next time.